now listening to
This is it. Whoa.
the Queen's Table with Ja Indigo. Serving royalty on hyperadio.com.
Hey, yo, what's good? What's good? I'm back. It's your sister, it's your queen, it's Jaja, and you're listening to the Queen's Table on Hype Radio. I want to definitely welcome everybody. I see you guys that are tuned in with us on Facebook. And for those of you guys that are tuned in on the station, I definitely appreciate you. If you miss me, know that I miss you too. I have a great show tonight, and actually this show is going to be near and dear. It is going to be different from the usual interviews where we have our local artists come on, but this person actually is a local artist too at the same time. But you're going to be pleasantly surprised at what I have to bring to you guys tonight. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. I want to go ahead and introduce my guest. His name is David Chauncey. Am I giving you the right name? Because I know him by Chauncey. So I want to make sure I address him professionally tonight.
Man, I guess, just depending on who's talking to me. So David Cook professionally. Chauncey's my middle name. And then, of course, in the music world, it was Chaunce for short.
Okay. All right, y'all got it. See, y'all got all his AKAs. But this is a great man, and we're going to go ahead and get into it so you guys can learn about David Cook, Chauncey. I was actually introduced to him through his music. And so I actually had heard he did a Soul Crest challenge. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Brooklyn challenge. Remember that was out and all the different areas was doing all of the challenges to the beat. Well, this guy here, he actually did it so phenomenal. He put a whole nother spin on it. I really like there was some verbiage that you used that really touched my heart, but he was actually speaking to his people about God, about Jesus, about what he's seen and the struggle that he's been through and where he is today. And he delivered it with so much power, and just the way that he wrote the beat and just the verses, just the way that you put it all together, you wouldn't even realize that it was really him rapping about God and Jesus. I just really love what you did with it, and I don't think nobody else has done that.
Oh, praise God.
Yeah, so that's how I was introduced to him.
Wait, not praise God that nobody else has done it.
Right.
Praise God that you appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely. So we're gonna start off with that, but then we're gonna get into the meat and potatoes for what you guys are here for today. And for those of you guys that are tuned in on Facebook, you see the title, and so we're not gonna take too much time before we get into what he really has to offer, what he's bringing today, because he has a lot to offer, but what he's gonna be bringing today. So I do want to kind of talk about what inspired you to jump into the challenge.
Well, Eric Reason passed away.
Yes,
and
yes.
So I went to his funeral, and actually, someone you just mentioned, it was the first one that came to me and said, "Man, how come you didn't do the Soul Crest challenge?" And I didn't know what the Soul Crest challenge was.
Okay.
And I joked with him. I said, "Man, do a God challenge." And of course, he laughed back with me. And then there were a few more people within the next 10 minutes that said, "Man, Chaunce, you should really do the Soul Crest challenge."
Yeah.
So it made me go home and look up what the Soul Crest challenge was.
And
when I seen it, of course, the old competitor kicks in, because music has been my thing since I was a child. My first albums and stuff, I was 13.
Wow.
So it's in my roots.
Yes.
So I look at the Soul Crest challenge, but that's, I guess I can give you backstory. 2009, I put the mic down and picked the Bible up.
There we go.
And I felt like God had a greater calling for me.
Yes.
But I still felt like there was a message I could give to the people who I love dearly.
Yes.
And that there was so much going on. And a lot of what I seen in the Soul Crest challenges, was a message in the opposite direction of what I felt, exactly. Would really uplift us as a people. And so I was impressed, and, that's how it came about.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm definitely glad that you looked it up and you looked into it, and that it was imposed upon you to uplift, because it definitely was going in another direction. Now, don't get me wrong, I definitely appreciate the Soul Crest challenge, but it definitely was a lot of the other direction. So for you to come in and breathe and be that breath of fresh air, what we really, really do need in our community, I just really appreciate that, and I know a lot of other people appreciate that as well. So I do want to touch a little bit on, just because you said that music it's in your blood, it's in your background, and you talked about putting the mic down in '09, and that's pretty impressive at 13 that you were doing music. You had an album out. Do you mind touching on that just a tad bit, to kind of, what kind of music were you rapping? Were you singing? What were you doing?
Well, I was rapping, and then also, a songwriter here and there, but Yeah, it was mainly rap.
Okay.
We did the you mentioned Durante, my cousin Vital.
Yes.
So my father had
Shout
myself,
out to Vital.
right? My father had myself, him, and then a Dante. I don't know if you know Dante.
Yeah, I do. He always saying beatbox on his chest.
Right, beatbox
yes.
on his chest.
Uh-huh.
So Dante and Durante, because they're both Tays, it was Tay Deuce. They were a group.
Okay.
And then we had another girl named Mocha, who was a singer and a solo artist also named Sarita, who was a singer, and then I was a solo rapper. So we did what was called the Youngsters with Voices tour all over the Bay Area. We did, high schools and junior highs, but that became a big success to where they said, okay, we need an album from Chance. So that's how that came about. And then I was 13 also, and I did the solo song on Dre's album, Mac Dre's album, the Don't Hate the Player, Hate the Game.
Right.
And I think things kind of took off for me there, just on a Bay Area scale. It's not like I was internationally known or anything, but so it's always been my passion, music, and just the challenge of writing or saying something, getting the same point across in a more clever way,
right?
Or getting a point across that hasn't been, presented before. So, so that's been my love for music.
Dope, impressive. So with that being your background, and then you made this pivotal change into what I view, because I watched plenty of your videos and I was just so impressed by what you're doing now. Tell me how that came about with coming from the background. And first, I didn't even touch on this. We really got into it. So where are you from?
I'm from the Crest.
Okay, so you're from Vallejo. He's from the Crest. And if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I'm just made 35.
All right, happy birthday. When you say just made, are you a Cancer?
If you believe in that, yeah, July 10th.
Really? Yeah, okay, I'm a Cancer. My birthday is July 3rd. So happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
All right, dope. Okay, and so I always like to kind of give that, preface so the people know. Now, you come from, hardcore gangster. We know the Crest is rough.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so I'm sure you were exposed to a lot and seeing a lot growing up. And I was telling him before, he didn't know that I knew his granny, Miss Cook. So shout out to Miss Cook. Everybody know Miss Cook.
Hey, Grandma.
And so when I seen his last name was Cook, I was like, okay, and I just put it all together. But saying that to say, your granny raised you, right?
She played a great role.
She played a great role.
My father raised me.
Okay, all right. Yeah. So I'm the same. My grandparents raised me as well. And so I know what we come from. We come from the 80s era, the crack era. We came from that shit. You know what I'm saying? Right. So tell me about your experience and how that impacted to where you are today, going from rap and now you're into the medical, holistic healing and ministry.
Right. So, growing up, well, let me go back even further. When I was 6 years old, I moved to Miami with my mother.
Okay.
For about 2.5 years. I was out there till I was almost 9. And when I was there, she taught me the truth. She taught me the word of God.
Okay.
And when I came back to Cali, I was almost 9. Total opposite. I was in, I got into music right away. I started writing when I was 9. And, my father was impressed, so he really got behind me. And that was my life till I was about 24 years old. Okay. But at 24, I remember just having this thought that you can run from God all you want, but and that's fine. That's your choice. Freedom of choice. But you have 2 children that can't do or say what they haven't seen and heard, and if you set the ungodly example for them, that's naturally what they'll follow.
Right.
When you understand that, and you still like, what, I'm still gonna do my own thing, then you can't really say you love your children. You, at this point, you're selfish and a coward. And I just remember having that conversation with myself. And I said, man, I gotta, to whom much is given, much is expected. Yep. So I've gotta, raise the bar. And no disrespect to any artists or any rappers. If music is what you do, great. But I just felt like God was saying, man, I got something different for you. Right. And so I answered that call on October 30th, 2009. And hey, here we are. So to move on to the other part of your question, I started reading a book called Ministry of Healing. Okay. And I learned that, a lot of illnesses such as diabetes and things could be cured. So I was working with people that had diabetes, and we've helped many people get rid of it, just do better diet, exercise. You mentioned, you saw the video of my grandmother. She was one of them. Yes. But then I learned of a place in Nebraska that was curing AIDS and cancer. So I had to go see for myself for what was supposed to be 6 months, and I ended up staying for a year and a half, and they cured many cancer patients, 5 AIDS patients. And let me say this, because a lot of times the medical world will get upset when you say cured. Yeah. So whatever you call it, when a patient comes with doctor papers saying that they have cancer, and then you work with them for a few weeks, and they go back to the doctor, and the doctor can't find the cancer anymore. Whatever you call that, that's what we're doing.
Okay, all right. Okay, so I had so many questions, and I want to just kind of step back a little bit. The reason that this show is very near and dear to me, and I had shared this when he first walked into the building, is because I just recently, and I mean just recently, lost my aunt to uterine cancer, and we found out at the last 2 weeks of my aunt passing away. She didn't actually share with the family that she had uterine cancer, and it spread, and I mean it spread quick and fast. And my aunt is definitely a believer of God. My aunt is the reason why I have such a close relationship with God. She was at church all the time, every time. So she didn't believe it. She said God is going to heal me, right. And she would not claim it.
Right.
So she didn't really take the medical part of it, you know. I don't know for sure, but I think she didn't take it as seriously and didn't do all the things she could have done to be able to help her. She was really just like, God is going to heal me, you know. And so she just definitely felt like she was going to be a testimony. And so for me, this show and the information that you'll be providing for us today is very, very important, because in addition to losing my aunt, rest in peace, I had 2 other aunts that actually have cancer. One is cancer free. She had breast cancer. She fought it. She's a survivor. I'm so proud of my aunt. But I have another one that has kidney cancer right now, and she's been surviving, and she's going through like the chemotherapy and all of these different things. And I've seen just the transition of how cancer ravishes a person, and just all the different levels of what you go through. So that's why I have you here, and I just felt like it was divine that you were here and you brought the message, because initially he was going to come in with on music, and it was just God put it on him, and he shared this powerful thing that he does with me today, and I was like, yes, we're going to do that. So I just had to say that so you guys understand how important this is to me, and hopefully you guys take some nuggets away from what he's going to share with us today. So we left off with talking about how you got to where you are. Now I want to know, did you go to school for medicine?
Well, not medicine. So let me clarify that. So what we do is natural. So a lot of what we do is better diet, exercise, hydrotherapy treatments, herbal therapy treatments. So I was trained in Nebraska for, like I said, what was supposed to be a 6-month course, but I ended up staying for a year and a half.
Okay.
And that's where they, cured many cancer patients, 5 AIDS patients, in fact, out of the 6 that came there. And I returned to Cali in 2013 and started doing the work full time. And just about 3 years ago, we opened our own center. And, the Lord is blessed. We've had great success, and, we've seen tumors come out, and people that were on hospice and given weeks to live. They go back weeks later, the cancer markers are normal, the white blood cells are normal, the tumors are gone. And that, that's just the Lord. I mean, there's a practical part that we have to play. We can say, God, make these tomatoes grow. And God says, I will when you plant the seed and water, the seed that I gave you, you planted and water it. So there's a part that we have to do, but then everything else is left in God's hands. And so, I've just been privileged to, to see miracles. I mean, and then when I say miracles, I don't mean like, we're putting our hands on you, pushing you on the floor, and, speaking in tongues. I mean, we're using practical methods. Getting rid of the cause of whatever your illness is, by putting you on a healthier path, and then using herbs and hydrotherapy to speed up the process.
Okay, so let's talk about that. When you talk about first I want to say and let everybody know that you actually are the founder and director of Saving Health Ministries. So I want you guys to be able to follow where this gentleman is in his business, or how what would you name it? A ministry, or is it a
ministry? It's a lifestyle center.
Okay.
On YouTube, it's Saving Health Network, where you see like all of the videos, the success that we've captured on video, and our media director just follows us everywhere we go, and we kind of get a chance to capture everything. So I think that's what has made us unique, or has given us the success, is that we let people in and they actually see what's happening. So that makes everybody want to come, because they can actually, they visualize. Or, it's like they're there while watching the videos. Oh, yeah, because I was watching the videos all day today. And I shared some videos with you guys as well, especially the ones that I was impressed, but they go on and on and on. Your health tips, and we'll talk about those too. And then the tumors that I seen that were gone, like the breast tumor that the lady had. And I don't know how you even got it out of there. Right, just using herbal poultice.
Right. So, but I mean, you cut it out? Are you the one who, are you like on some surgery level, or how does that happen?
No, so we mix different herbs together. In some cases, it'll break up the tumor and dissolve it on the inside, and it'll break up more and just pass through the eliminative channels. In other cases, anything that's cancerous in the area, it'll pull it right through the skin. And there's like a clean flesh wound that'll heal, if you give it a few weeks.
What?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's like I said, it's amazing. The best thing I could have done in my life was answered that call on October 30th, 2009. I didn't know that I was going to be doing this. I've been doing this for 11 years now. I didn't know I was going to be doing this, but I just knew God didn't want me doing what I was doing.
Right.
So you put it down and, in faith, okay, God, whatever you got for me, I know it's going to be bigger than this.
Yes,
and
it is.
Yeah, it's I say often, man, I hit the jackpot, I mean, for me, like, not everybody's called to work with cancer.
Right.
But I feel that.
Your purpose.
Right. I feel complete.
That's definitely a jackpot. We're here to fulfill a purpose.
Right on.
So when you find it, and everybody don't get their opportunity to find it. We're a lot of times, a lot of us are lost.
Right.
Lost in the sauce, and you don't know, and then we perish and have not fulfilled the purpose that we're here, because we're following what everybody else is doing, and we're not listening to God. We're not, we're not in tune with ourselves, so we don't know what our purpose is, and we're just here procreating and just doing whatever. So yeah, I agree with you on no direction. So definitely jackpot, it is indeed. And I'm sure it feels good every day to see these people. So I watch you in the video and I see how these people are so impacted by what you bring. It's a group of you guys,
so we have staff, we rotate staff, and then we also do medical missionary training sessions where we bring people on and train them the same way I was trained in Nebraska. So that, because there's so many sick people out there, we can't take care of them all. So, we're trying to build up more centers, not that we have to found or start the centers, but just if we can educate the people on how to do the work we do, they can go, start centers themselves.
Right. Okay. And I definitely want you to be able to share with the people, if someone is interested on how to become a medical missionary. We'll touch on that a little at the end, so you can let them know how they can go about that. So the why behind why you actually did this, you talked about, just answering the calling, but was there someone or something that inspired you?
Well, it was just finding out. I mean, if you're walking down, say a road, and you see someone hanging from a cliff, and you have maybe the rope to pull them up, there's a rope sitting right there. Right. You have that rope. All you have to do is grab the rope and hang it down so that they can grab hold of it. It'd be weak for you to keep walking. You see what I'm saying? So I feel like I found the rope for everybody that was hanging, dying of cancer and things. And so now I feel like, okay, God placed that responsibility on me to help everybody that's dealing with that. So, and I guess how to identify what your calling is. Anytime something comes across your path, where it's a need for others, so other people need. Can they hear me? Okay. If there's something that other people need that only you can do or not enough people are doing, then that's your calling.
Right.
That's something God put in your path.
Right.
And it's your responsibility to answer that. It's up to you to answer that or not.
Right. Do you think that you're like an empath? You know what I mean by an empath?
What do you mean? So
somebody like when somebody else is in pain, like you feel it, like you take that on. Was that something that you noticed as a youngster growing up? Like your helper, your empath, you can't help but try and help somebody.
I've always, since I was young, loved to help people, particularly those who couldn't help themselves. Rest in peace, Irma Stewart. She was like a grandmother to me. City's grandmother, one of my best friends. I just took a liking to her early, and she had health issues, and I didn't have all the knowledge of health that I do now back then, but whenever I could, just if it was just sitting up with her watching the Cosby Show all night, I loved being around her.
Her energy, huh?
Right, and anybody that's, that had a need for or had issues that they couldn't, help themselves with, I always indicated to that. So yeah, I love to help. Now, whether I can feel your pain, if you're in physical pain, I can't feel your physical pain.
Right. No.
Oh, okay,
not to that extent, but like empath, you kind of like someone shares something to you, and sometimes it can become your, and I don't want to say burden, that might be a very strong word, but you kind of take it on, like
you take their reality as well. Right. Yeah.
So usually I think that most healers, I find you to be a healer.
Okay. And I want to clarify, God is the only healer.
He is,
I'm just
but he works
guy,
through you.
Right, that he's using.
Exactly. Right. All praise and all respect.
Right.
And he's working through you.
Amen.
So I think that you have to have that, have that empath vibration happening for you to be able to, connect and then find your purpose.
Amen.
As you did. So,
right.
Now, what do you focus on at the center, just so that people can know? What is your primary focus there?
Well, we take in any illness. In fact, we just had an AIDS patient come, and their virus count was 103,000. They were with us for 3 weeks. They went back to the doctor, and it dropped to 45,000 in those 3 weeks. So, keep it up. And as the virus count is 0, again, we're not saying we're curing AIDS, but whatever you call it, when you came with an AIDS diagnosis and you go back and they can't find it,
right?
That's what that's what we're doing. That's the goal.
Okay.
But we take in any illness, but mainly what we get is cancer. I mean, because that's something that's very prominent. A lot of people are dealing with that.
Yeah.
And we've had so much success with it that a lot of the videos that we display are dealing with cancer. So people see that, and then that's. We didn't target that, but that's just become what we mainly.
Because it is so relevant. Like, oh my gosh, it's just crazy how many people are being, impacted by cancer. So I want to ask you then, what's your thought? Well, let me ask you, what is the healing process when you say the people come to you? What are they doing when they come to you, and what practices are you guys doing there?
Sure. So now, with any illness, the first thing you want to do is get rid of the cause, right? So we figure out the cause. If it's type 1 diabetes, then the pancreas is not rebuilding it's not producing the insulin. If it's type 2 diabetes, the insulin receptors are clogged. If it's cancer, and I'm gonna say this because I want everybody to understand this, there's 2 ways you catch cancer. The most common way is you eat an animal that already had cancer in it.
So I ask you about that too.
The number one cause of cancer is animal products. But the way cancer is formed in that animal or in an individual that didn't get it from eating meat is the DNA fails to send the instructions to the regular cells, and so the regular cells go on to do their own thing and become abnormal cells or cancer cells. So we have to figure out why the DNA is not sending the instructions. Either the circulation is poor or something has damaged the DNA, whether it's just poor lifestyle. So the cause of every illness is a violation of what we call the laws of health.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is it's a law that whether you're rich, poor, young, old, male or female, if you want to live, you have to have air.
Right.
Right? If you violate that law, you will die.
Right.
So therefore, it's a law or a rule. Well, it's the same with everything else that the body depends upon. Exercise, water. Although you might not die immediately, what will die immediately is perfect circulation, or whatever benefits you would have got that day from drinking the water, from exercising.
Listen, you guys.
Miss out on that. So we put them on a program where, if they just follow that, they're already keeping all of the laws of health. They're getting a good diet. They're getting the exercise, the water, the sunshine, the oxygen. They're getting to bed on time, getting proper rest. And then now you've put the body in a position where it can heal itself. And then we speed up the process by using herbs and hydrotherapy treatments.
Okay. So what is hydrotherapy treatment?
Right. So the word hydro just means water, like the thing outside of a building that they hook the hose to is a fire hydrant.
Yeah.
Right. Or H2O is hydrogen and oxygen. So hydro is water. And then therapy just means treatment. So it's just water treatments.
Okay.
Different treatments that we do using water to attack disease. So we do what's called a Russian steam bath, where we put you in a chair with an electric skillet under there, and we wrap you in shower curtains, and we sweat you out. Reason being is the more toxins that come out the pores, the less toxins the liver has to deal with. Also, anytime you're taking food, the body can only deal with so much of it. Anything that's excess, too much food, it just sits there and becomes rotten food or toxins. And if those toxins were left to brush up against your nerves, then you'd have pain. So the body creates fat cells to store the toxins so that you don't feel pain. So now you've got fat.
You guys listening. Listen, he breaking it down. Okay.
So the more toxins we eliminate through the pores, no need for the fat cells to be there, the unnecessary fat cells. So they start to burn off as well. So that's another reason. And then ultimately, because the sooner you get rid of the toxins, the sooner the body can now deal with the issue of the disease at hand.
Okay.
So that's why we do the Russian steam bath. We also do what's called a fever bath, where we put you in a bathtub with about 110 degrees water, and we use a meat thermometer to check the temperature of the water, and then a regular thermometer to check your body temperature. Once your temperature raises about 3.5 degrees, you now have a fever, and we let you sit there with that fever for about 20 to 40 minutes in the tub. Reason being is your body's natural reaction to the fever is to multiply the white blood cells, which will kill the cancer cells. So it's like giving you a natural chemotherapy without killing your good cells or without killing you.
Oh, wow.
In addition to that, because it builds the white blood cells, it builds up the immune system. So anything that's an autoimmune disease like AIDS, AIDS, autoimmune deficiency syndrome,
right?
Since it builds up the white blood cells, it kills off the AIDS virus.
Wow.
or the HIV virus,
right,
or the lupus, or the Lyme's, or the coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we're not claiming to cure anything, but
Yeah.
whatever you call it, when the person comes with an illness and they go back to the doctor and the doctor says they don't have it,
Mm-hmm.
that's our goal over here.
Okay, wow, that's impressive. Well, I appreciate you breaking that down. Now, is there a time span that they come to your location
Correct.
and they do these therapy treatments?
Right, so we run 21-day sessions and then we take a 1-week break. So right now this is the off week. We just finished the session Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
The next session starts this upcoming Monday.
Okay.
And so the first few days, you've got like a 1-day water fast for all of those who can do a 1-day water fast.
Okay.
Every individual is different.
Uh-huh.
And then a 3-day fruit fast. So we're detoxing the body. We're doing the Russian steam baths. We're doing herbal teas. We're doing herbal poultices. If you have tumors and things, we're putting herbal poultices on the tumors,
Okay.
as you may have seen in some
I
of the videos.
did, and I want to know about the fig poultice, right?
Okay. Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, but after a few days, we graduate to the fever baths and the more intense treatments.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got you doing 1 hour of walking, at least once a day,
Mm-hmm.
maybe even twice. There's health lectures. I mean, it's a full program for the 21 days.
Okay.
But the fig poultice, so figs are high in sugar and oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
Cancer loves sugar, but it can't live in an oxygenated environment. So
Oh.
you're setting a booby trap for the cancer. when
Did you
put it
guys
on figs.
know that? So cancer loves sugar, but it can't.
It can't
survive?
live in an oxygenated environment.
Okay.
So as long as you're putting oxygen in the body, you're fighting against the cancer. And not only that, it helps get rid of boils, cysts, fibroids. So we've used those and have had success in eliminating fibroids, along with castor oil and other things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the poultices we apply. Then there's the chaparral poultice with the combination of herbs that attack the actual cancer
Uh-huh.
in the area. But here's the thing, and I want people to understand this. When we're attacking the tumor, we're just mopping up the puddle of water on the floor.
Okay.
You have to fix the leak in the faucet,
Right.
right? And to do that means to attack the cancer itself.
Right.
So we attack the cancer internally with herbal teas, with the fever baths, by increasing the white blood cells,
Mhm.
giving you a nutritious diet and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And then the poultices and things that we put on the tumor,
Mm-hmm.
that's attacking the symptom, or the result of the cancer.
Okay.
So we're hitting it all together at once.
Okay. Wow. So then, after the 21 days that they're there with you, how do they maintain that? Do they come in periodically?
Well, no, they go back home. So a lot of people, I mean, we have people come from out of the country, out of state, so they can't, it's impossible for them to just come back all the
Right.
time. But
Mm-hmm.
we keep a connection with them over the phone,
Mm-hmm.
and we coach them through it, and then we have them go back to the doctors and get tested.
Mm-hmm.
We don't diagnose. We let the doctors do the diagnosis. We don't prescribe medication. Everything is natural. We give
Okay.
you, so we give you, a better diet and a bath is what we like to say.
Right, a better diet and a bath. Okay.
And then by God's grace,
Cleansing.
you get well. Right.
Cleansing.
Of course,
Okay.
it's more than just a bath. But
Yeah.
when they go back to the doctors,
Mm-hmm.
then they're able to see. And I must also add, week by week, while they're there, we take them in to get blood work so that we can monitor. Because every case is different. You don't want to just assume that it's working.
Right.
So we want to see that the white blood cells are increasing, the cancer markers are decreasing,
Mm-hmm.
the red blood cells, everything is normal and stable. And then when they go back home, they may get another scan, or where they examine the tumor itself, and you'll
Mhm.
see that either it's almost gone or it's completely gone. So we just had a lady that just left this session that just ended,
Yeah.
and her tumors were like completely gone
Right.
when she went back.
Right.
You know,
think I've
just
seen that
just in the
interview.
first couple weeks.
It was one that you just recently have
Yeah,
posted.
we haven't even filmed it. Like
Oh, not
she
that,
just
not her?
left. She
Okay.
just. I mean, we haven't even aired it. She just left.
Wow.
But she, I
Amazing.
remember, I guess she got the, she felt it break up inside, and then
Uh-huh.
it was almost gone. She ran up and gave me a hug and squeezed my neck. I'm like, "What's
Uh-huh.
going on?" And she said,
Yeah.
my tumors. And then people can feel it, but then I also want the doctor to examine it. So with her feeling it, and then with the doctor examining it. In fact,
Wow.
the doctor told her, wherever you were at, you need to go back there for another session.
Wow. I'm just overly impressed. That's amazing. So, what does it cost to be to get in, and what's the process to get in?
So of course we you call in, we hear your issue, your matter. There's a series of questions we'll ask you,
Mm-hmm.
and then that will determine whether or not we think you need to come. Of course, if it's cancer, you're coming.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And then we send you a welcome letter. You respond to the welcome letter, and then the cost to come is $6,000 for 21 days, and that covers your food, your housing. So you live on the premises.
Okay.
Your herbs, your treatment, and your supplies. And then there's a $1,000 down payment that's included in the $6,000. So you just make the down payment, and then the rest of the whatever the cost isn't due until like 1 week before the session starts.
Okay.
But so normally you would call like a couple months in advance and get booked up, because right now we're booked up to October. We still have open spots in some of those sessions, but that's how far we're booked up right now. So we encourage people, call in and just get your spot booked, and then everything else can be dealt with later.
Okay. So so when you say they come up, and where are they coming? Is this a facility like a doctor's medical facility, or
so
where are they coming?
We like to keep it homey. So we're on 60 acres. We've got several buildings on the property. We've got a nice, a fantastic garden with like 28 fruit trees, and so part of the daily schedule, the guests get out there and they work in the garden as well.
Okay, in nature, baby.
Right, in nature. And I mean, it's the best environment for healing is to be out in nature.
Yes.
So we're up 3,600 feet above sea level. You know, when you walk up to the hill and you look down, you can see the city. You can see Redding, California. You can see the smog and the smoke over it. Wow. And you're above all of that, so you don't have that polluted air when you're that high up.
Yeah.
So that's a blessing. And so they come to. We have several like homes. You know, we house them in like cottages and things, and you know, we walk the premises, and so they get the exercise throughout the day. So it's a full experience.
Cool. And so, are you considered like the primary? I don't know if I call you a doctor. What do people call you? A healer? What do they call you?
Medical missionary.
Medical missionary.
Right.
Okay.
Is the proper term. You know, some people call it naturopath, or you know, there's many different names. When you say, I like to always let people know, because when you say like a healer, then we get put in the class with people that, you know, to like put their hands on you, that kind of healing.
Okay.
So medical missionary would probably
medical
be the
missionary. Best. Okay. All right. And then since we talked about missionary work, and I know that a lot of what it seems like you're a motivational speaker too, because I've listened to a lot of the videos and stuff that you put on, and it also you deliver the word as well.
Amen.
So is that, you do that as well? Do they kind of get a little bit of the word while they're there?
So every day at 4:00 we have a health lecture, and then Friday nights, all day Saturday and Sunday we do Bible studies.
Okay.
You know, Bible lectures. We go over, you know, in-depth Bible studies. And so, yes, they definitely get.
Okay.
Definitely get that.
Cool. So I want to ask you then, because I kind of figured that cancer definitely was from the food that we're eating. I was like, it's either the food, the medicines, or the environment.
Right. Well, see, here's the thing. There's several ways cancer is caused, where you can get cancer. I mean, if you're smoking cigarettes, you get lung cancer. That's the cause behind it. So when we say animal products are causing cancer, it's not the only cause, but it's the number one cause. Meaning you have 100 people in the room with cancer, 75 of them, you know, most of the time, 75 of them have encountered it from eating an animal that had cancer. I read an article not too long ago where a man went into a deli. Like, this is mind blowing. He went into a deli. He wanted some meat, so they cut him a piece of meat off the slab. He took that home to his family to eat. Another man comes in the same deli. They go to cut him a piece of meat off the slab. They hit something hard. White stuff starts to ooze out, and they realize they just hit a tumor. So, of course, the man's response is, I don't want any of that.
Yeah.
But the man who came in before him just took that meat home to his family and had cancer for dinner. So this is why you can be perfectly fine today, right? Cancer-free. Eat cancer for dinner, go back to the doctors next week or 2 weeks from now, and you've got cancer because it's now in your blood. It was in the animal's blood, now it's in your blood.
Right. So let me ask you, are you vegan?
I'm vegan. Been vegan for about 11 years now.
Wow. So I've tried, my son is.
And I'm still strong.
Yes. My son is vegan. I'm so proud of him. He did it on his own.
Right on.
He's seen that, What the Health.
Okay.
That did it for him.
That has done it for a lot of people. That and Forks Over Knives has done it for a lot of people.
Yep. So that did it for him, and I'm very proud of him. And I actually have seen a change in his skin. So he used to have acne, and his skin is pure and beautiful and chocolate. I'm like, look at you, son. And it was him changing his eating.
And how old is he?
He'll be 21. He'll be 21 on the 27th.
Right on. He's at the self-cancer stage where he's trying to figure things out.
He is.
Along with his health. Right on.
And he's exercising and stuff. He had always been exercising, but it was what he was eating, and that did it for him. And he really, now he's trying to figure out, because I want to say he's almost in 2 years, so he's trying to figure out, I guess, about protein parts, you know. So he's going through filling out how to supplement, I guess, the protein part of it. Right. But yeah, I want to do it. I want to join.
Right on, right. And here's the thing, like when you go vegan, I don't want people to think that you're just supposed to eat fruits and vegetables. So like you need a full balanced meal. Four food groups the God put on this earth for us: fruits, grains, nuts, and vegetables. Right. And so for breakfast we give them fruits, grains, and nuts. And then for the second meal we give them their vegetables, grains, and more nuts. You know, in a decent portion. So 3 to 5 servings of fruit. A serving for each individual is different. It's determined by the palm of your hand. Right. So like a medium-sized apple that fits in the palm of your hand, that's 1 serving. If you have that and a banana, which for most people is 2 palms, you've got 3 servings. You want that at a minimum, no more than 5. And it doesn't mean you need 5 different fruits. So if I have 2 bananas, it's like 4 servings. Okay. 4 servings, but 1 fruit. Right. If that makes sense. And then you've got your grains, you know, whole grains mainly, and then your nuts. You don't need more than a handful unless you're doing a lot of working out. You might need a couple handfuls because you burn off a lot of energy.
What do you think about those that are pescatarian? Because I know some people like, I gotta have a little bit of meat, like some fish, you know, or some people just do the chicken. What's your thought on that?
Right. And see, here's the thing. You take bread, for instance, right? Or take an apple, for instance. Apple's good for you. But when you take the apple and I dip it in mercury, right, and I hand it to you, I put in poison or some bleach, and I say, here, you still want the apple? Nah. Of course, the answer is no. Right. So fish at one point was, you know, safer to eat. Yeah. But now because there's so much mercury in the water, so much pollution in the water, when you take in the fish, you're also taking in that. Right. And now you get the heavy metals in the body, and that's also causing a lot of illnesses and things. And then the chicken, I mean, if you watch some of these videos of how they pump this stuff with steroids. Ooh, yeah. So that they can get bigger, because the bigger they are, the more meat you have to sell, right? So now that's more money. Right. So they get bigger, but what's happening is these steroids are making them sick. They give them antibiotics for the sickness. They get so fat that their legs can't hold them up, so their legs break. Yeah. And they're in this frantic state, and this is how they die, and this is the blood that you're taking in.
And that's that energy and blood that you're taking in.
That's the food you're taking in. So you're eating sick animals. Yep. And then you wonder why you're sick.
Yeah. Right. And going crazy in the head too, because them animals, imagine what they dealing with. You know what I'm saying? So the whole energy you taking out.
Right. I mean, just think, when a woman breastfeeds her child, the energy that she has is passed to the child. Exactly. Right. Yep. So it's the same. You know, the life is in the blood. It's the same when you're eating an animal and the blood is in the animal. Yep. You don't know what state, what condition he was in. Right. You know, take a trip to the slaughterhouse, you'd be done with meat for the rest of your life. Right. Most people would. You know?
So you did that transition early, and for those and I hear a lot of people, as well as myself, interested in making that transition. It's hard when you're so accustomed to meat. What did you do to help you transition over without feeling like I need some meat?
Well, you know, it's crazy. When I was young, I mentioned I went to Miami, living in Miami with my mother. She was already vegan. Okay. She used to cook chicken for my stepfather, and we still ate meat. She didn't force it on us. I was helping her make the chicken one day for my stepfather. We were cleaning it, and she was pulling something out of it. I said, what's that? She said, that's the boo-boo. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, that'd be my last time eating chicken. Right. So I became a vegan at 6 years old on my own. Okay. For like 2.5 years. Yes. I got back to Cali, and Durante, waving ribs in my face like, man, you know you want this barbecue. We went to camping at Clear Lake, and they started me off with a tuna sandwich, right, to wean me back on the meat. And then I started eating meat. But when I got older, I looked back like, man, hold on, something's not right. Yeah. And you know, as I started understanding health and how what we eat affects us to a great degree, I made changes. Immediately.
Okay, cool. So I just want to kind of go over a couple of health tips for you guys, because, you know, of course, with the whole COVID that's going on, I think there are probably some good tips that you maybe can share when it comes like to coughs and colds, because we're all thinking, even allergies, we're thinking like, ooh, I got the Rona. So what are some health tips when it comes to coughs and common colds?
Well, the best remedy for a cough is to take eucalyptus oil and honey. So you take like boiled honey, you get like a tablespoon of that, put a few drops of the eucalyptus oil on there, and just take that. If it doesn't knock it out in 10 minutes the first try, try it again. That's like the best remedy for a cough. Now, a cold, a flu, a virus, any virus of any sort, the only reason it can enter your body, unless you've injected it by needle or through, you know, sexually transmitted disease, the only way it can enter your body airborne is the immune system is not strong enough to fight it off. And so the immune system is normally depleted by a poor diet, a high sugar intake, and then, number one, not enough sleep. when we don't get enough rest, our immune system is depleted. So as we weaken the immune system, it's like the big bad bully. The virus is trying to enter in, and if your bodyguard, the immune system, is not at its best, he's too weak to fight it off. So now the virus can come in. So we flush out, with the Russian steam bath that sweats out, the virus. But an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. So preventing it before it happens is better than having to get rid of it after it's happened. So eat a nutritious diet, drink lots of water, get to bed on time. That's very important. And perfect health depends upon perfect circulation. So you could eat a nutritious diet, you can eat a plant-based vegan diet, but if you don't drink water and exercise, the nutrition from that diet isn't circulating throughout the body. So it doesn't make it to the different organs of the body. This is why a person who eats meat and exercises every day can be far more healthier than a person who is a vegetarian or a vegan but doesn't exercise at all. Because the food that was designed to be a blessing for you will just sit there and become rotten food or toxins rather than making its way to the different organs. And
I like how you broke that down. That definitely makes sense. Okay, so I have to ask, since we talked about virus and we got the COVID situation, how do you feel about the mask, and what are the prevention things that you are doing or that you tell people?
So, like, again, living a healthy lifestyle, keeping the immune system up by getting proper rest, drinking lots of water, and a nutritious diet.
Vitamins?
Will keep the immune.
Is vitamins really good
you always want to get your vitamins firsthand in the actual food. Take vitamin C, for instance, and I'll come back to the question you just asked me.
Take vitamin C, too.
But take vitamin C, for instance. What I'm saying is, as an example, they extract the vitamin C out of its original source, and so it's by itself. It doesn't have all the other components that's in the orange to help the vitamin C, or that's in whatever fruit it came out of. So now you need 1,000 milligrams of the vitamin C just to get some type of effect, right? Whereas they did a study, actually, and I'll get back to the question you asked me originally, but they did a study where they took 2 classes of cancer patients, and they gave one class of cancer patients 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C in a pill form every day. They gave the other class 35 milligrams in the orange. The ones that were taking the orange, the cancer went away faster because it had the other properties that support it so that it's more effective. So as far as vitamins go, some people have to take the vitamins because for whatever reason, some people can't eat, so they get vitamins in a liquid form. But you want to get it in its original source. Organic fruit. I know a lot of people are like, well, the food is not what it used to be.
Right.
Well, the vitamins are still coming from that same food, so then the vitamins aren't what they used to be. You still want to get it in, in its original source for the most part.
Okay.
But your question was
the mask. Right.
So the mask. A lot of people, they're getting the virus on their hands, just like getting a cold or anything else, and when your hands touch your mouth or touch your face, so unless you're washing your hands and things, the mask is not going to protect you at all. I mean, it may keep somebody's funky breath from blowing in your face, but it's a healthy lifestyle that's really going to help. And so if you've encountered the virus, and again, we're not using the word cure, but whatever you call it, if you've encountered the virus, all you need to do is build up the immune system. So like fever baths build the immune system up, and you can sweat a virus out through the Russian steam baths and things of that sort. We've known people that have encountered the virus and they're still alive today. The virus is gone, and they went to the hospital, and whatever they did there is gone. So if you're able, if the people are able to get rid of it, here's the thing. I know a lot of us are like, man, this is just a big scare that the powers that be are putting on to a certain extent.
We hear that. Yes.
I mean, because it's a virus. It's not a big, what I mean. Nonetheless, the dangerous part of the virus is you can get pneumonia in the lungs and not know that you have it. Right. But pneumonia is so easy to get rid of. We don't have to shut the whole world down over pneumonia.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
People been having walking pneumonia forever in the day. So yeah.
Right. In fact, my mother, a lot of patients that she has worked with in the past, she's a nurse. But what she would do is
it makes sense now.
Right.
Okay.
A lot of my beginning with health began with my mother.
Okay.
But she would take hot compresses, like full body hot compresses, to do what we call a full body hot and cold. So it's like taking a long towel that's hot, letting you lay on it bare, and then putting a hot one on your back, right, for about 10 minutes. And then we do the same thing with an ice cold for about 5 minutes on the front and back. 4 rotations of that, and then the same day, the pneumonia was gone.
Wow.
Now, she was doing this. So we just recently had someone come that had pneumonia, and we did it. We had him get checked. Pneumonia was gone. Again, we're not using the word cure, but whatever you call it, when you have something and you no longer have it, that's what we're
healing,
doing.
Because that's what they did way back then, and it worked way before all these advancement in medicine came along. So yeah, a lot of times we got to go back to the root. We got to go back to our roots.
That's right. And see, for me, what has really helped me have success is, you said go back to the root. I go back to the root of the root, and I have a conversation with God.
There you go.
God, why did you make a liver? What's the liver's purpose?
Function. Yeah.
What is the purpose of the heart? Why do bananas have peels and apples don't? Why, like you when you created this, you made the conscious decision to create this fruit that way and that fruit that way.
Right.
You made the conscious decision to put a liver in us, to put a kidney in us, to put kidneys in us, to put an immune system to fight off disease before disease even existed.
Right.
So you had all of this figured out, and I'm just asking why on every. And as I find the why, then the light bulb clicks. So me and God, we have a lot of conversations.
Good. That's a beautiful thing, as we all should.
And of course, just to clear, so people don't think he's not coming down from heaven and talking to me.
Right.
This is what you need to do. You know, I ask him a question, I may find the answer in his word, or someone may come with information that helps. But in one way or another.
Yep, that's how it happens. Exactly. Right. And you're right about that. That's how it happens for me, too. That's how we talk to him. And I like to put a time, me personally, so I make sure that I'm clear when I'm speaking to God and I need an answer on whatever the issue is. I'm like, Lord, I need it within 24 hours. I need you to give me something so I ain't confused or bamboozled by, because, sometimes, even just in general thinking, I know yours is more when it comes to, like medical practice or the healing side of it, but just in general, when you're dealing with stuff and you're just trying to have a clear vision and a direction on which way to go, sometimes you have to ask the Lord to give you a time frame, a line of, so I'm not confused about, because the devil hear it too, you know, and then he come and you be like, oh, is that the answer or is that the answer, so I try to put a time on it.
One of the things I do, my best prayer I like to pray, if it's not your will, close the door. That way I don't have to wonder or guess, if this is what you want me to do or not. If it's your will, keep the door wide open. And as long as it's not nothing that goes against his word, because then you don't need to ask you if it's your will. Your word says plainly, this is not something you want me to do. But when there's a situation, okay, this job or that job, I don't know, then close the door on the one you don't want me to have. And that, that is always like a clear answer to me.
I love that. Yes, thank you for sharing. Look, the people love it too. Appreciate it. So, again, I want to just take a moment because I've seen you guys. I've seen the numbers fluctuated, and I definitely want to thank you all for tuning in. I hope you guys were able to get some nuggets of wisdom and health here today. I know I definitely did. For those that are tuned in on the Hype Radio, I definitely appreciate you guys. Tell a friend to tap in. You can follow us. You can follow me at Jaja on Facebook, JAHJAH. I'm also on IG. It's officially Ja. And you can also follow us at Hype Radio on IG. We're live there. There's always shows. We always have a special guest. We're always delivering new music, artists, and information and business. We're here. We support our soil. We support our local talent. We support anything that is important to us that we think that you should know. So I just had to take a moment to give the people thanks. And I did want to just a couple more questions that I had, because these are things that I have heard about, helpful tips that I've actually had conversations about, that I know the people, friends, and family. So since they're here with us, I want to ask you about peaceful sleep. We talked about how important sleep is. And I know that there's so many people with so much stuff going on. We're way down with stuff that people can't sleep. And they're using melatonin, and they're using all Tylenol PMs and all of this different stuff to try and go to sleep. And I just know so many different things I hear people talk about, but I hear this common thread about sleep. We're having a hard time. Can you give us some health tips?
Yes. Well, first thing, make sure that the lights are completely off in your room. Because what'll happen is, if there's light on, the body's going to detect it as sunlight, and it's going to think that it's still daytime. So the release of the melatonin and the serotonin and everything that normally takes place a few hours after the sun sets won't happen. So you want to make sure that all lights are distinguished. Get all the electronics away from you. And make sure it's absolutely quiet, of course, and and try to sleep. Now, what will enhance sleep is hard work, right? So the Bible says the sleep of a laboring man is sweet, right? So when we're doing hard labor throughout the day, that'll definitely help us get some good sleep. And then there's herbal teas like hops or valerian root that will also help you get good rest if you need to go that route.
How do you quiet the mind? Because if you know any tips, because I think even you have those, like you got your hard workers that are just busy bees, and then when they finally get the opportunity to lay down, they're in the dark and they're laying down, the mind's not shutting down.
Right. And see, you have to be responsible enough to give everything its proper time. Like everything in the day deserves its space and time. And when it's time to sleep, it's time to sleep. There's a time for everything under the sun.
Right.
So when it's time to sleep, you might have these business ideas, or you might have, different things going through your head, and you're like, okay, there's a time in my day where I'm going to address that, right? But right now, I need to sleep so that I'm equipped to address that correctly when the day comes.
Right.
And then a lot of times people can't sleep because of worry, stress. And here's this. I want to say this. The cure to worry, panic,
anxiety,
the cause of panic, anxiety, worry is a lack of faith. And faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. So the more we read God's word, our faith is increased. The more you start to understand that God is in control, right? You can be at peace. Thou will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed upon thee, because he trusteth in thee. So that perfect peace comes with trusting in God. The more we do that, the more we can sleep like babies. Like babies. When I fall out, I sleep good because I know everything is under control.
That's right. Give it to God. It's I'm not gonna say it's kind of, people say cliche, right? You always say give it to God. You always say let go and let God.
Right.
Yes. But it's true and it's real. We have to do that. You got to embrace that. You got to let go and let God. We don't have control. We want to control everything. That's what's wrong with us. We want to have the control over everything, but at the end of the day, we don't have the control. So we got to let the controls go. Do our part. When we know we've done our part, then allow God to do his thing in your life and what in the matter. So I'm with you there. Thank you for sharing that. And then the last one I want to ask about is high blood pressure. We know in our community, that is something that we struggle with. I'm 40, and I know that I'm at that age where it happens to, folks that are younger, but I know at this point for me and those that are above, that's something that we do deal with, whether it's because of, I guess, weight, what you see it from. So what are some health tips that you would give?
Well, I'll give you first how you get rid of it overall completely, and then I'll also give you like a quick fix. So I often say, think of your body as a ketchup bottle. When you shake the ketchup bottle back and forth, because the ketchup is so thick, it doesn't move so freely. But if you add water into the bottle, it thins the ketchup out. Now when you shake it back and forth, it freely moves back and forth. So your body is the ketchup bottle, and if you've got high blood pressure, it's because the blood is too thick. The blood is too thick because you're not drinking enough water. You should have half your body weight in ounces. If you weigh 150 pounds, you should get at least 75 ounces of water a day at a minimum. So when you drink the water, it thins the blood out, and then when you go exercising every day, that's equivalent to shaking the bottle back and forth. Now the blood is freely flowing. It's not thick, and it's not just sitting in one place. High blood pressure is gone. So we normally hear people, 2 to 3 days, the high blood pressure is gone. But a quick fix, the 30-minute quick fix, is, in fact, we did a farmer's market some years back, and we had a booth set up, and we told everybody, if you have high blood pressure and we can't help you get rid of it in 30 minutes, we'll give you $20. So the line, everybody lined up. We mashed up garlic, gave it to them, and then we had them drink water, sit down for 30 minutes. We checked the blood pressure. Nobody walked away with $20.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's that powerful. So garlic, it'll definitely help normalize the blood. If the blood levels are too low, if the blood pressure is too low, it'll bring it up. If it's too high, it'll bring it down.
I've heard that. Cloves as well.
Yes.
My aunt, she tells me about that too. She puts cloves in her coffee because she gotta have her coffee every day. Auntie, you gotta have your coffee every day. So she drops some cloves in there. And she's really on like holistic things as well. So she always share little tidbits with me too. So cloves are good for you too with high blood pressure?
The cloves of garlic, or you mean the clove leaves?
The cloves of garlic.
Oh, yeah. Garlic cloves, you definitely mash them up, or you can eat them whole, or you can even take garlic capsules. But, yeah, garlic is like a quick fix. But, again, that's mopping up the puddle. If you're not exercising and drinking water, the blood will be thick again.
That's the key right there. Okay. Well, as far as those health tips, like I said, those are things that I hear all the time, and I just wanted to kind of get his perspective. So hopefully you guys found some, some knowledge in the information that he shared, and some things that you can do with your day-to-day life to help you with eliminating colds and with the virus and high blood pressure. We talked about diabetes, we talked about cancer and things of that nature. So I want to allow you the opportunity to kind of just seal the package so people will know how to get in contact with you.
Sure.
Anything that you have up and coming, give them all the deets.
Yes. So the website is savinghealth.com, but you probably far better going to the YouTube channel, because we put all the videos on the YouTube channel. The website only has some of the videos, and we like to put out little 2 to 5 minute health tips, how to get rid of high blood pressure, how to get rid of this, get rid of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we put also, testimonies of where we're showing live the tumors coming out and things like that. So you can go there and check us out. And then our contact information is on there, but the number that you can reach us at is 530-474-3145. That's our office line. Again, that's 530-474-3145. You'll get me directly at some point, whether you leave a message, and I'm always willing to answer any questions. And just our goal, we just want you to get well.
Yes.
Both physically and spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
We want you to get well and just be the best you can be. You only get one life.
Yeah.
So to live the life any short of what you could be, any short of your full potential, doesn't make sense. Especially when you can see the full potential, like when you can see, okay, that's what I could be.
Yeah.
You say, but you know what, I'm gonna settle for being a 5 instead of a 10. So we want you to be your fullest, what God has put you to be, while you still have the chance to do that.
Yes, absolutely. Fantastic. So I want to make sure that you guys got his information. I see you guys. We got a lot of hearts and love and all of that, and shout outs. They shouting you out, Chauncey.
Praise God. Much love to everybody.
Yes.
Anyone watching, and thanks for tuning in.
For sure. So I'm going to go ahead. We're going to get out of here, you guys. I hope you guys got all the information that you need. If not, his name is on my page. The videos are there, so if you're confused, there's a link.
So the Facebook is David Chauncey Cook, but see, on Facebook you can only have like 5,000 friends. I think I need to get like a celebrity page.
Right.
So I've got like 2 pages.
Yes.
And they both are full with 5,000. So it's like now we've got the dilemma again. But you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. Do that. That's probably the best thing, because then every time we drop a video, you'll be notified. And then our contact information is always on there, and you can reach out to us.
Yes, absolutely. So I definitely want to thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
From the bottom of my heart. I do. And like I said, it was divine that you came. I definitely hope, I got some cousins and some relatives that I definitely hope tuned in tonight. If not, I will be tagging you with some of these tips and his information. I think what he has going, if you guys can join in on the 21-day program that he has, look at his YouTube page so you can see for yourself the impact that what he has going on, how it's really helping people. There's testimonials, it's a wealth of stuff. So I want you guys to take the opportunity to really go there if you are experiencing any of the things that we talked about today. And he's definitely sincere. I feel the energy here. And when I watch your videos, I definitely know that God is definitely working through you, and I'm glad that you're allowing him to do that.
Praise God.
And so, yes, you guys, in closing, I wish you guys a safe weekend. We are back, looks like, on quarantine again. We're going to be doing this, I guess, for the rest of the year. So make sure you guys are staying safe, practicing those self-habits. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, there was one thing I wanted to say. She asked about the cost earlier. I don't want anybody to let finances keep you from getting well. We have charity funds, where we are able to cover the cost for you. Sometimes we bring people in for free, just depending on the situation. So call. If you have an issue, call, because if we can, we'll do whatever we can to help you get well. So we will never let finances get in the way. So you shouldn't either.
There you go. God bless you.
Praise God.
Thank you so much. All right, you guys, I'm signing out of here. It's your sister. It's the Queen Jaja. It is the Queen's Table. We are here on Hype Radio, and I will see you guys next Thursday.